Hello. Um, it's June 19th, 2020. I'm Steve. It's good to be here. And today I'm going to talk to you. It's some of Napoleon Hill talks about the six basic fears that people have. And they're not, this isn't all of them, but this is the most common fears. And I'll just read them, and then I'm going to read a short paragraph out of the book Think and Grow Rich that Napoleon Hill wrote back in the 1920s, I believe. It was when the first concept came up. I believe the first publishing was sometime in the 1930s, somewhere around the Great Depression. But anyways, the six basic fears. First is the fear of poverty, the fear of criticism, the fear of ill health, the fear of loss of love of someone, the fear of old age, and the fear of death. So here's a he wrote a chapter about these fears and what happens with people when they get into these fears. And so I'm going to read this paragraph here. The six basic fears become translated into a state of worry through indecision. Relieve yourself forever of the fear of death by reaching a decision to accept death as an inescapable event. Whip the fear of poverty by reaching a decision to get along with whatever wealth you can accumulate without worry. Put your foot upon the neck of fear of criticism by reaching a decision not to worry about what other people think, do, or say. Eliminate the fear of old age by reaching a decision to accept it, not as a handicap, but as a great blessing which carries with it wisdom, self-control, and understanding not known to youth. Acquit yourself of the fear of ill health by a decision to forget symptoms. Master the fear of loss of love by reaching a decision to get along without love if that is necessary. Kill the habit of worry in all its forms by reaching a general blanket decision that nothing which life has to offer is worth the price of worry. With this decision will come poise, peace of mind, calmness of thought, which will bring happiness. A man whose mind is filled with fear not only destroys his own chances of intelligent action, but he transmits these destructive vibrations to the minds of all who come in contact with him and destroys also their chances. So the idea here is that making a decision that you're not going to worry, you're gonna get out of the habit of worry. Making that decision will come poise, peace of mind, calmness of thought, and that'll bring happiness. And I don't know anyone out there that wouldn't want to have peace of mind and calmness of thought. I mean, it's in our world today with with all the activities and super fast internet connections and things that just happen at lightning fast speed. Having calmness of thought, isn't that such a great concept to have, that you could actually, just being so calm and having that peace of mind. There's so much the opposite of that today that I think that a lot of these six basic fears and the worry that comes along with the fears. Right now we're in this pandemic, and that's basically just a fear of a flu virus that has gripped the entire world. And our communication system today is just perpetuating it. It's causing it to be blown to proportions unlike anything we've. And I do believe we've had worse pandemics than this one in the past. This one is our communication system today is so advanced compared to what it used to be that everyone knows, and the fear has been injected into all these minds to the point where it was put out there that maybe a mask would keep you from getting this flu virus. and people are taking it to extreme levels. I mean, they're wearing masks in their cars with all their windows up, driving around. I've seen people walking down the street by themselves with no one around wearing a mask, which which is just fear and worry coming up to the surface. And there's people that, since this pandemic has broke out back in, here it is, June. It's been about 3 months. About the middle of March is when it really in the United States that's hit. There's people that haven't left their house since for 3 months because they have so much fear of getting this flu virus. And yet there's doctors and nurses that are working in hospitals where people that have it are coming in and they aren't getting it. So, I believe that the reason the doctors and nurses aren't getting it is a total lack of fear. They have no fear of getting it. They have absolutely zero fear. There is zero. They may wear a mask only because they're told to. They have absolutely zero fear of getting it, and so therefore, their bodies are immune to it, and they won't get it. Now, I just think they're just, yesterday we talked about there's no justified resentments, which is really a great statement. There's no justification for carrying around a resentment, but I believe also that there's no justified worries. I one of the people that I really admire is my mom, and she's doing really well, but my whole life she was such a worrier. She worried about this and that, and especially when I was a teenager and my sisters were teenagers. We're all about 3 years apart, so there was a time when my parents had three teenagers at the same time in their house. God help them. And I remember my mom. I mean, she was just worried. She worried about everything. She was worried about, if we didn't show, we stayed out, and it was almost like the more she worried, the more we gave her reasons to worry. It was almost like she attracted more things to worry about. And we would sneak out of the house and we would party, and we were so bad. All of us kids, my sisters and me included, were kind of bad. But my mom, she worried all the time, and I believe that holding on to worry and not letting that go, and living with the worry like that will shorten your life. A lot of people just don't. They probably could have lived another 20 years in this idea of a peaceful, having your mind calm and peace of mind. That's the opposite of worry. You cannot have peace of mind and calmness in thought while at the same time worrying about everything. So, it's anyway. I want to talk about my mom. The thing that I admire, one of the biggest things I admire about her, is that probably at about age, sometime maybe in her late 60s, somewhere in there. She's in her 80s now, but she just completely gave up worrying. And I mean, I don't know if it was something that happened. I think maybe it was something came to a head. It's like her health. She had to get she had some heart problems and stuff, and some of that could have been brought on by the years of worrying. But she just made a decision to simply give up worrying. And I asked her, I was like, man, I'm so proud of you for doing that. It's like, for me, it was just seeing somebody that's older like that and still be able to change. And I mean, she is so peaceful now, and she's just like totally changed. I mean, you can change if you've been a worrier your whole life. It's just simply making a decision that you're not going to worry anymore, that there isn't anything worth worrying about. We're going, and some of that's just taking things as they come and just being peaceful. And and I guess I picked up a little bit of worry. I spent some time, I heard a lot of stories about how horrible it was if you got audited by the IRS, and how awful that was. So I spent a little bit of time worrying about that. And it was interesting that sometimes the stuff you worry about does come to pass if you keep it in your mind long enough. So it's important that you keep the worry is keeping your mind on stuff that you don't want, and then almost expecting that stuff's going to happen. So not letting yourself go there. Not letting worry take over your whole life. Is something that you've got to work on. You've got to keep your mind off of the stuff you don't want anyway. By thinking about that, I ended up getting audited. And I found out that it wasn't as bad as what I'd worried about. I envisioned the IRS coming and just shutting my whole business down, taking away all my money, and leaving me homeless. And that was my picture, and that's what I worried about. I thought that's what's going to happen, and that's not what happened. And it wasn't near as bad. I mean, I made mistakes, and I ended up having to pay more than I wanted to. But it was manageable, and it did it, and with a little bit of faith, it all worked out. Now I don't have any worry. I never even comes to my mind about it. And I think those worries were just influenced by other people, what their perception of that experience was. To them, that was really bad, and I just kind of thought that everyone would have that experience, and it wasn't that bad. They were fair, and I was I was honest about it, and I made some mistakes. I did some things wrong, and I admitted those, and so the other thing is, I thought, well, I did some things wrong, knowingly wrong, and I'm going to end up in jail. And by admitting that and then paying back some of that monies, I avoided that, and I didn't try to get out of it or anything like that. But I also didn't worry myself. I mean, some people worry themselves into the grave. Basically, they worry so much they worry so much that their life is so miserable that it's almost not worth living. So don't go there. I mean, you can make a decision. The neat thing about this life is you have the choice. Just like I say, you can control your own thoughts. You can take those thoughts and take them captive, and you can let them go. So take those worries and make a decision that you're gonna let them go. You're not gonna worry anymore. You're gonna take a hold of them, and you're gonna say, I'm not gonna let this destroy my life. So anyway, that's the talk today. You can live without worry, and you just need to make a decision that I'm not going to worry. And the neat thing is you can just shift your mind. The same mind that thinks about all the stuff that you don't want it can work in the opposite, because a lot of times what people worry about, it'll make it worse. If I start worrying or thinking about how my leg hurts, it doesn't, it'll start hurting the mind, and the body will make it happen. But it'll also make it happen on the other side. So if you think about what you do want, figure out what you do want, what your purpose is, and focus on that. Keep your mind on those things, and it'll happen that way. But the idea here is, by making a decision not to worry, you can have peace of mind, and you can have calmness in your thoughts. What a wonderful thing that would be, wouldn't it? Especially in today's hectic society where everything's so stressful. Having peace of mind and calmness in your thoughts would be a good thing. So anyway, that's the talk for today. It's about, I call it old man worry. The old worry wart. Making a decision not to do that anymore. So do that, and you will find that your life will take on a new meaning. So thanks for the time, and have a wonderful day.